Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science, take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge.
Do you ever have a story that you just can't get out of your head?
One that you play the details of over and over with your friends?
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan.
And this is Justice Pending,
a weekly true crime podcast where we discuss tantalizing crimes with more questions than answers.
Thanks for joining us.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Engels 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Hello and welcome on in. It's the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. Happy Tuesday to you. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air, as he does, 5 days a week, live on YouTube, noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Today, we're talking about a Bruins prospect that no one is talking about that might actually factor into this team sooner than we might think. I'll just put it that way. We'll talk about him. We will talk about the Patriots and how everything is going nice, except for the fact that I think their new head coach is trying to change their prized quarterback right away. We'll go through that. And Are the Red Sox in trouble here? The starting pitching, is this going to be able to hold up in October? Is it going to be able to get them to October? The frightening stats that could be major red flags for Red Sox fans. All that and more coming up on this episode of The Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. But we start where we start, which is pretty much every day with the Boston Bruins, okay? That's what the thumbnail is. That's what you guys have come to expect. That's why you guys are liking and subscribing so that I can help keep my job. And, the 90% of you watching that are not subscribed are actually subscribing because that really, really helps, right? Yeah, that's why they start with the Bruins every day. It's on the thumbnail. We start where we start. The Bruins prospect pool is a really interesting one. It's still one of the worst in the league, but there's a bit of hope. There's a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, right? James Hagans, right? Matthew Patra, Fraser Minton, those guys are going to be big pieces this year. You got Hagans, you've got Vasek Blanar, who no one had ever heard of and is going to be, the next Ray Bork, all this, that, and the other. But there's a couple of guys in this system, in this pipeline, that have not been talked about because they weren't first-round picks, because they don't play at Boston College like most of their prospects do, but can actually be a big part of the Bruins' future. Enter Christopher Pelosi of Quinnipiac. Chris Pelosi, second-year center at Quinnipiac, is someone, if you are a Bruins fan, you need to keep an eye on. He's not James Hagans, all right, one of the big studs at the college level. He's not one of these guys that's already in Providence like Don Sluch-Mellis. He doesn't even play in Hockey East. Oh, I didn't know Don Sweeney could draft guys that didn't play in Hockey East. Apparently he can. The kid's from New Jersey. He plays college hockey in Connecticut. That's about as far away as Don Sweeney's going to get. Third-round pick, 92nd overall in 2023. Still needs to fill out a little bit, but 6'1", 190 at age 20. He's going to be 21 in March, towards the end of the college season, playing for Quinnipiac. And he didn't get a lot of shine because he didn't have a stellar first year in college. So call it how it is. 24 points in 38 games. It's not horrible by any means, but it's not very good. All right. In fact, it's respectable. The jump from junior, the USHL, to college hockey has never been as great as it is in the year 2025. And he makes the jump and 24 points in 38 games. But it was a really slow start for him, to the point where he didn't even make the World Juniors team, which seemed like kind of nailed on for Christopher Pelosi. He was one of the last guys cut from the World Junior team that ended up winning the second straight gold medal for the U.S. And that, as we know, that's where prospects shine. That's where prospects improve their draft stock. That's where they improve their confidence. With Christopher Pelosi, it was kind of the opposite. He didn't make the team, and it improved his game. He got to work a little bit differently in that time where the kids are playing at the World Junior Championship. And after getting cut from the team, his season took off. You look at the final stat line, 24 points in 38 games, and you're like, Cam, seriously? This is the guy I need to be watching out for? The answer is yes, because he finished the year with 19 points on 11 goals and 8 assists. So he's a goal scorer from the center position. He finished the year with 19 points in his final 23 games after getting cut from the World Juniors team. Like, that to me sounds like a kid who's starting to figure it out. A kid who's a victim of that major jump from the USHL to the NCAA. It's not what it was 10, 15 years ago, where those guys come in and they hit the ground running. It's not that way. You're playing against guys who are bigger, stronger, older, better than they've ever been. Pelosi just needed a little bit of time. And it's crazy how much in hockey scouting, for fans especially, that we haven't caught up to that yet. I mean, you heard about it with the discourse around James Hagans in the draft. 37 points in 37 games, and that kid's supposed to be a top 10 pick? Yeah. He started the year when he was 17, going from the National Development Team program to Hockey East, playing with NHL guys and against NHL guys night in, night out. Christopher Pelosi, it's the same thing. He wasn't picked top 10, but we can't just discount we can't just say, oh, because of the first couple of months that he had in college hockey, that this kid can't hang with the prospects. Because in fact, in the back half of the season, he did show you that he can hang with the prospects. That's why he is a prospect. And so I think that's good news for Bruins fans, that he's starting to figure some things out. And by the way, the scouting reports on him are already really good. You know, by the time he hit college hockey after a USHL career, everyone was saying, wow, this kid's probably a bit of a bargain in the third round. They already rave about his two-way game, about how physically he can play, even though his frame isn't huge. I mean, 190, you can play in the NHL at 190, but, you know, it's not like he's 215 throwing that frame around. He's being physical at 190 and 6'1" from the center position. And from all we hear about the Bruins scouting and the Bruins development, those are huge check marks. Right? How many times do we hear it about the Bruins? Oh, they're too difficult on the centers. There's just too much to learn for these kids to play the Bruins way, especially at center. It's the reason why Donzel Chmelis goes to Providence and they throw him on the wing right away. Oh, we can't overwhelm him with all the responsibilities he has as a center. Well, to me, it sounds like Christopher Pelosi is already checking those boxes. He already is a two-way center. Even when he was struggling at the beginning of the season for Quinnipiac and not scoring a lot of points, he was playing a two-way game. That's a huge piece of the puzzle kind of already figured out. Is the defensive game the same in the ECAC as it is in the NHL? Of course not. But you already have the kid with the instincts and the effort and the attention to detail that is necessary to be graded as a really good two-way center before he gets to that next level. A lot of guys have to learn defense. A lot of prospects have to learn the defensive side of the game at the NCAA level or at the American League level, or in some cases for the really good prospects at the NHL level. You've got a guy in Chris Pelosi who's kind of already got that part down. That's why I think he's a secret weapon. The kid got better as the season went on. Again, he's not talked about. He's in probably the Bruins' top 10 prospects. But it's not like you're like, man, I can't wait to watch Chris Pelosi this year. I got to get down to New Haven, see Chris Pelosi a couple of times. No, you're thinking that about James Higgins, Dean Letourneau. Thinking that about, I mean, they all play at BC, right? They all play at BC. That's the guys you're thinking about, right? But you're not thinking about it with Chris Pelosi. Just watch out here. Like, he's farther along than Dean Letourneau, definitely farther along than William Moore, who comes in as a freshman, as an 18-year-old, right? He's going to be farther along than him. And his numbers are actually, the last 19 games of the season, his numbers were better than Donzel Chmelis' best offensive numbers. They were better, roughly about the same as Oscar Jelvik's best offensive numbers in his second year at BC. So when you compare him to kind of those mid-tier prospects, he's right there. And yet we're seeing him as a bottom-tier prospect. Some Bruins fans aren't even thinking of him as a prospect. Chris Pelosi's a name to look out for, truly. And if you're part of those brave New Englanders who for some reason lives in Connecticut and isn't just adopted to all the New York teams like those pricks, and you're a Bruins fan in Connecticut, this is a guy to go out and watch. It's going to be tough to make it up to the Heights and see every BC game to watch every Bruins prospect, but you can see Chris Pelosi, who I think can be an effective guy for the Bruins at the NHL level. This year, no. Next year, the end of it, maybe. Maybe. And if he has a year at Quinnipiac, like the end of his last year, you could see that ELC by the end of the college hockey season. Wouldn't surprise me a bit, actually. And I think that would be a good positive thing for the Bruins. And I think he is a legit guy to look out for in the next couple of years. Where I do find it very interesting and where Chris Pelosi kind of fits in is all of a sudden, the Bruins prospects might have too many centers, right? The Bruins have needed a center for the last couple of seasons as desperately as anybody has needed a center in the entire NHL. You know, they're putting Elias Lindholm and Pavel Zacha in the number one center spot and paying them $12 million a year. Like, that's not ideal. Not ideal, right? Especially on Lindholm's part. And so all they've done is drafted and acquired center after center after center. With Don Sweeney's draft record, maybe that's the right thing to do. You're bound to hit on one of them if you draft 10 of them. But you look at the Bruins' top 10 prospects here. Matthew Patra, Fraser Minton, James Higgins, Don Zlochmelis, question mark, William Moore, Dean Letourneau, and Chris Pelosi. That's 7 centers, all under the age of 22, that are all in your top 10 prospects. 7 of the 10 are centers under the age of 22. Talk about redundancy. I have a great feeling that in 2.5 years, we're going to be talking about how the Bruins have no wingers in the pipeline. And that these centers are making plays for nobody. It's just kind of the way it's probably going to go. I'd put a question mark next to Don Zlochmelis. He had an unbelievable scoring streak in Providence when he was called up after he signed his entry-level contract the last couple of games of the regular season. And he was doing it on the wing. They put him on the wing because they didn't know if he could handle the center position yet at the professional level. And they put him alongside Matthew Patra, who had obviously played NHL games at that point. And that's where Zlochmelis really thrived. I think his natural position and at his size is a center. And I don't know if he's explosive enough as a scorer to play on the wing. But maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit from that stint in Providence. Maybe he can be that. Maybe he does have an NHL shot. Maybe he can do the things to be a winger. So maybe, just maybe, that's only 6 of your top 10 prospects that are 22 or younger that are centers. I can't believe I'm asking this question in the summer of 2025 after all the discourse that we've had over this position the last 2 years. But do the Bruins have too many centers? Do they have too many? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about, but they might. Now, centers are great trade chips. Great trade chips. Young centers who are ready to play in the NHL, and who knows how many of these guys will be ready to play in the NHL in a year from now. I don't know. William Moore probably won't. Dean Letourneau probably won't. James Higgins probably will. Chris Pelosi, who knows? But these guys can be excellent trade chips. I just don't like the fact that you're just chasing this one position and hoping that if you swing 10 times, you might hit a homer on one. But you got a top 10 pick, man. You already nailed it. Hopefully, James Higgins. But Chris Pelosi is a name to look out for. This center position is going to be something to look out for. Okay? This is so much going on here. And defensemen, leaves a little bit to be desired. You've got Mason Lowry right now. You've got Blumé, who's, somewhere at the bottom of your top 10 prospects. There's still something. He's playing down Frederick Brunet, right? Yeah. Plays in Providence. Wasn't good enough to get a call up at any point last year. I think he actually did play the final game of the season, which I think David Farinacci played in that game as well. So you got him. You've got 3 or 4 years away, Vasek Blanar, who everyone loved at Dev Camp. But you don't have much outside of center. You've got those two, Michael Callahan, DiPietro at goal, Oscar Jelvik, who I talked about in the show a couple of days ago about how he needs to have a breakout season. He's coming in as a winger from Boston College. Shocker. But you just don't have much outside of center, which is now all of a sudden pretty alarming. But that's what the Bruins, maybe that is exactly what Don Sweeney needs to be doing. The dude's one of the worst drafters in the league. He's just not good at all at evaluating talent. This organization is no longer good at evaluating talent. Maybe this is just what they need to do. Draft as many centers as possible and hope that one of them turns out to be an NHL guy, even a bottom 6 guy. And then you throw your eggs in the James Higgins basket with your only top 10 pick of the last 15 years. Right? Maybe that's exactly what Don Sweeney should have been doing this whole time. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about these Bruins prospects. Do they have too many centers? Is Christopher Pelosi the next one on that list to look out for? Because, by the way, good chance you're going to see him before you're going to see William Moore or Dean Letourneau. Is he that next guy with Minton and Patra and Hagens? Are you going to have to trade one of those guys? Does that open up some more avenues for the Bruins? Because I'll definitely hear some arguments on that. Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're finally excited about this Bruins prospect pool. We're kind of going through them almost one by one throughout this summer. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. Over 90% of you watching aren't actually subscribed yet. It's totally free, and we come to you every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. So check out the other videos on the channel, talking Bruins, everything else in the world of Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. That's why it's called The Cam Show. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week, and we are talking Boston. Better than anyone else, I think, by the way. But hey, our day will come. Our ship will come in. Uncle Baby Billy told me that. All right, coming up next, we're going to shift gears to the Patriots a little bit. Everyone loves Mike Vrabel. Everyone loves Drake May, as we should. But do they love each other? Is Mike Vrabel trying to make Drake May into something he is not? Let's talk about it next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show, The Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm Cam, your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air, as he does 5 days a week, where we talk about Boston sports live on YouTube and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. So check out the other segments going out as well. We got those going out every single weekday. And then available wherever you get your podcast too. We've talked about the Bruins, the secret prospect that you need to keep an eye on. One of two secret prospects we've gone over this summer that you need to keep your eye on. We'll also talk about the Red Sox and their recent struggles, which may be a huge red flag as they go towards this postseason push. But now we talk Patriots because everything was perfect after week one of the preseason. 48-18 win over the Commanders, second team, JV. And to be fair, the Patriots played their second stringers for a good bit of that game as well. And they also had a good week of practice and joint practice. And that's what matters more. But is there a bit of attrition here between coach and quarterback? Is that even a bad thing? Certainly, we're seeing some things that are pointing towards that. Drake May is a gunslinger. Okay? It's what made him great in college. It's what made him the number 3 pick in the draft. And it's what made him so endearing to Patriots fans, desperate for some hope for the future when he debuted last year. It's also why some people still aren't sold on him being the franchise savior that we all want him to be. His brutal fumble against the Commanders in an otherwise perfect Week 1 preseason win for the Pats showed these still glaring issues for a quarterback we've been hyping up for 10 months now since he made his debut. It showed once again that he's pretty rough around the edges. There's still some kinks to work out here. And his new coach, no-nonsense Mike Vrabel, had a blunt response to how he felt about that particular play.
And Roach in the back.
Mike, just thought on Drake's performance, and I'm sure the turnover probably annoyed you with what he did.
Are you asking and answering a
just
question
know
at
your
the
thoughts.
Same time? Is that what you're doing?
I got you. Your thoughts?
I would say you about summed it up. That's a bad decision, and I think we're going to need better from him, and I think he knows that, and that's obvious. So, wasn't there, and we just have to be able to find a way to get rid of the football or take a sack and punt and play defense.
Mike Vrabel did not want to answer that question. He wanted to go full Belichick right there, did he not? I think you about summed it up. 3 seconds of awkward silence. And then he goes and teaches Bill Belichick a lesson that you can actually treat these people like a human being. You can actually answer the question, even though it was very poorly constructed by Dan Roach. But I think about this relationship between Vrabel and Drake May, and it's something that really interests me. There are a few old school coaches in this league that are still kicking around that want to win games on defense and running the ball and a little bit of spectacularness from their quarterback. Mike Vrabel is one of those coaches. And you could be successful with that to a certain point, which I'll get to later on in this rant. But I wonder if this is the symbiotic marriage that Mike Vrabel was looking for with Drake May. Because the more I look into it, the more I'm convinced that if Mike Vrabel was actually hired by the Patriots when he was supposed to be in January of 2023, instead of trying this awful Gerard Mayo experiment, I guess. If Mike Vrabel was the Patriots coach in 2023 when he should have been, in January 24, that's it, right? 2024 is the year we're coming off of. If Mike Vrabel was the Patriots coach in 2024 and was going into that draft with the number 3 overall pick, I don't know that he would have picked Drake May. I really don't. If he had his pick of quarterbacks in that same draft class, so no Caleb Williams, no Jaden Daniels, the same situation the Patriots were in, I don't think he picks Drake May. I think he'd be much more likely to trade back and pick Bo Nix. Kind of guy who gets the car in the garage, who takes care of the football, is an accurate passer, is not going to raise your ceiling all that much, but is going to raise your floor quite a bit. Because let's look at it. Let's look at Mike Vrabel's successful tenure as an NFL head coach with the Tennessee Titans. Okay? He had Ryan Tannehill when he took that team to the AFC Championship game. When Vrabel went there, to the time Vrabel left, Ryan Tannehill was his guy. And you can see why when you look at the interception numbers. In 5 seasons under Vrabel, Ryan Tannehill threw double-digit picks one time. One time in 5 seasons. In 5 seasons with Miami, Ryan Tannehill had double-digit picks every single year. They eliminated that from his game. Mike Vrabel did that. That's why I don't think he would have picked Drake May. That doesn't even mean that Drake May is bad. That doesn't mean Mike Vrabel can't work with Drake May right now. What it means is he doesn't want Drake May the gunslinger. He wants Drake May the quarterback. Okay? And some guys never get out of those bad habits. Very, very, very few guys never get out of those habits and still become great quarterbacks. But if I had to guess, I'm going to guess Mike Vrabel wants Aaron Rodgers more than he wants Brett Favre. Probably just a guess from me. And look, I get it. Every coach wants a quarterback who doesn't throw picks. Find me one coach that says, yeah, I don't mind that my quarterback throws interceptions, and I'll show you a loser. But there are some coaches that are willing to beat it out of a quarterback until it is completely gone. Again, some want Aaron Rodgers. Some are willing to live with Brett Favre and the bonus, the plus side that he gives you. Because that fumble the other night with Drake May was horrible. I mean, it was first game of college football, third string, come in at the end of a 49-7 game kind of mistake. It was stupid. Everyone in the stadium and everyone watching it on TV saw it coming from a mile away. And I got to admit, I shuddered a little bit. I said, I was just really hoping we were past that. Because there were some times where we made really good decisions to not force a play last year towards the end of the season. There were some where he still tried to force a play. And some of those picks weren't even his fault. But it's what you look at when he continues to do it in the next preseason. I think Mike Vrabel is willing to try and beat that out of him. And how could he not? Because this is clearly a part of the philosophy that the Patriots have here. Again, I talk about it in that press conference. He's almost going full Belichick. Almost. Because there are some things that Mike Vrabel really kind of emulates with Belichick. Right? There are some ways where Mike Vrabel's a lot like him, but in a lot of ways he's not because he never coached under him. He played under him for a little bit and was, pretty successful. But it's not like he was coaching the linebackers under Bill Belichick. And when you look at the organizational philosophy that he is trying to, I guess, uphold, or in some ways trying to start a new one here, is they're trying to be a good fundamental football team, which they have not been over the last few seasons. Not by any stretch. In no way have they done the fundamentals good well under the last 2 years of Bill Belichick, and definitely under the 1 year of Gerard Mayo. And now there's this on the wall in Foxborough. The Patriots team identity. Effort and finish, ball security, ball disruption, details, technique, fundamentals, and making great decisions. Don't make me tap the sign, Mike Vrabel saying to Drake May on the sideline. Because I'd argue that obviously Drake May violates number 2 on the list, but he probably violates 2, 3, and 4. That's not ball security. That's not paying attention to the details and the fundamental, and that is not a great decision. He doesn't hit effort and finish, sure. But he doesn't hit 3 of the 4 things on there. Effort's got to be smart effort, right? Drake May, so far, very, very early on in Mike Vrabel's tenure, has not adhered to those rules that he has laid out for how the Patriots are going to be successful in the new Patriot way, which is a lot like the old Patriot way. Okay, Drake May hasn't fit that so far. This is not me going on some rant saying, oh, he's about to trade Drake May. He's going to run him out of town. It's just not his guy. No, I'm not saying that. But if you think this is the year that Drake May goes to 35 touchdown passes, I also don't think that's the case either. I think the Patriots are going to win more games this year than they have each of the last 2 seasons because they're going to have a really good defense and they're actually going to have a running game. Will Campbell actually looks good in the run game. I know there's concern that left side of the offensive line is going to be all rookies, but and no teams do that ever. I think there's been once in the last 10 years that a team has started 2 rookies on the left side of the offensive line. It doesn't happen. But the Patriots are going to win games this year on their defense and their run game. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not. But we have, for what it's worth, we have seen the Patriots bring along a quarterback by doing that very thing. Mike Vrabel played with him. His name was Tom Brady. Okay? You're not going to be able to win a Super Bowl probably in this league by doing that. Although the Eagles are pretty close to that. Hurts is obviously a good quarterback. I wouldn't call him like an elite, great quarterback, even though he put up something near an MVP season a few years ago. But that is the extreme example. These other teams that you see competing with it don't do that, right? When you look at the teams that have made it over the last couple of years, obviously the Chiefs, the 49ers, like they weren't these teams that just 3 yards in a cloud of dust, win a game 17-10. Wasn't necessarily like that. You can still win in this league. Your ceiling is just a little bit lower than a lot of those elite teams. So now that question starts to beckon. Is this the kind of quarterback that Mike Vrabel wants to lead his team? Is he the kind of player that he wants? Or are we going to see a big kind of, are we going to see a lot of growing pains from Drake May in year 2? I think that will be very interesting, because if we do, it's going to feel a lot like Mac Jones in 2022. The difference is Drake May's got such a better outlook in terms of the offensive coaching staff. Having Josh McDaniels in year 2, there are going to be some growing pains, but at least you have Josh McDaniels. At least it's not Matt Patricia and Joe Judge in year 2. Like, I can't begin to stress enough how much better that situation is. But Mike Vrabel wants a different quarterback. Drake May's his guy, but it's going to be a different Drake May. What do you think? Would Mike Vrabel have drafted Drake May if he was the head coach last year? Would it have been Bo Nix? Would it have been Michael Penix? J.J. McCarthy? I think it either would have been McCarthy or Bo Nix. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to get more Patriots content, more Boston sports content, we're bringing that to you 5 days a week, live at noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Check out the other videos on the channel, talking Patriots, Bruins, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week, talking Boston. That's what we do. And we're going to continue to do that next, because I'm going to jump overboard a little bit here. I'm just warning you guys who are going to be here after this very short break that we've got coming up. I am going to go over the deep end quite a little bit on this Red Sox team. It's 3 losses in a row, and I'm ready to write off the season, but I have some stats to back it up. I'm going to give you the red flag numbers as to why this Red Sox season might just be slowly crumbling right before our eyes in August yet again. That's coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
BosleyMD.com. I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again. BosleyMD.com.
And now, back to our show.
Now back to the show, The Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm Cam Stewart, your host. For those of you just tuning in, we're live on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. We've talked some Bruins, talked some Patriots, Red Sox on deck. But just a reminder, like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. It helps me keep my job. We are on the path towards 4,000 subscribers, and the growth the last 2 months in this channel has been just incredible. It's been absolutely amazing, starting from the NHL draft. So we've hankered down on a lot of Bruins talk in this offseason. But of course, with how the Red Sox are going too, we're talking everything in the world of Boston sports. We're going over it all. So thank you guys so much. Whoa, wobbly studio here, earthquake. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and following along. This has been so awesome to see the growth of this channel over the last few months. So definitely, if you can, it's totally free. It takes 2 seconds. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will keep this churning out 5 days a week with myself, Cam Stewart, and Zach Burke behind the glass, keeping us on the air. Okay, now let's talk some Red Sox, shall we? I've got some concerns. It's 3 straight losses in August. I hate a West Coast road trip. They're not even on the West Coast anymore. They're in the easternmost West team ever. They're in the Central Time Zone playing Houston. And after sweeping them last weekend, they got bullied in that game last night that they ended up making a comeback, but it fell just short. So I'm concerned. I am concerned about this Red Sox team, but I've got some stats to back it up. I'm not just being emotional, okay? It's not just a phase, Dad, okay? I've got some stats to back this up. For the first time in a long few years here in Boston, the Red Sox are legitimately prepared for postseason baseball the way they've been playing this year. For all the hype and the promise this team and this franchise has for the future, the question still remains the same. Can this pitching staff hold up in October? Frankly, we might need to ask if this starting rotation can hold up to even get them to October. Shocker. The biggest question mark going into the trade deadline that was not addressed anywhere near how much it needed to be addressed is still an issue. And that is that starting rotation. Garrett Crochet got rocked by Houston. First time in a long time. I was actually at his last loss, which was Memorial Day. Garrett Crochet got rocked by the Astros. Brian Bayo had his worst start in a month the day before that. And the day before that, Lucas Giolito was downright awful in San Diego. Walked 4 straight batters to end his outing in the 4th inning. That's your top 3 starters. 3 days in a row. 0-3. And not even close to good enough. Your top 3 starting pitchers against playoff teams on the road in a tight AL East race in the dog days of August. And that's what you got. 14 1/3 innings pitched, 18 hits, 14 runs, and 10 walks. That's what you got. More than half those walks came from Lucas Giolito, by the way, in one start. This is where the concern is. Going into the trade deadline, you said first base bat, starting pitcher. And the Red Sox didn't replace either of them. They didn't check either of those boxes. Like Dustin May, he's not an answer. Steven Matz, long relief guy, which you did need. It was about the 3rd or 4th need that you had, and you did get him. And that's it. That wasn't even close to good enough. And then the Red Sox go on another winning streak. They start sweeping good teams, taking series from good teams, and you're like, maybe they can just get by. Because they should be a postseason team, even after these 3 straight losses. They should be a playoff team. But the ceiling is pretty low because they didn't go out and get that. Lo and behold, 2 weeks after the trade deadline, that's still a major, major question. And it's not going the right way right now, that question. Okay, Garrett Crochet, what was the big concern about him when they traded for him and extended him? He's never pitched more than 145 innings in a season. He's never had that full season as the ace workhorse. And even last year, when he was the ace of a rotation and was an all-star, he was playing for quite literally the worst team in modern baseball history. That is no barometer as to whether or not this guy could be an ace for an entire season for a contending team that's going to make the playoffs. Do I think then it was a bad idea to go and trade for him and extend him? No, I love Garrett Crochet. And this is his first bad start in a long time. But what I'm highlighting here is the innings pitched. 146 was his career high going into this year. He has already surpassed that. He got to 152. He leads the league in innings pitched. And it's August 12th. Mid-August. And he's already hit his career high. Go ask Chris Sale. Things don't exactly get easier from this point on. There's a lot of wear and tear on your body from this point on. And he's already hit his career high in innings. Your number 2 starter has just hit 100 innings coming off of Tommy John surgery. That's where the numbers start to decline. Go in your clubhouse and ask Walker Buehler what that's like. To try and pitch 100 innings coming off of TJ. It's not a pretty picture. The next 50 innings are not pretty. Brian Bayo hasn't hit his career innings yet. His career innings high. But you just wonder if Bayo's going to fall into the bad habits that he had the last couple of seasons when he hadn't fully realized his potential. Am I going overboard off of one bad start? Probably. Bayo's been awesome the last 2 months, at least the last month. Crochet's been great all season long. Giolito has been better than I thought he was going to be going into this year coming off of Tommy John surgery. But when all 3 of them have bad starts all right in a row at a very crucial part of your season, then to me that is a red flag. It starts waving. And meanwhile, Joe Ryan, the guy that you were going to go out there and get at the trade deadline, when the Minnesota Twins got rid of everybody else, traded more than anybody in the league, got rid of 10 guys, but you couldn't get a deal done for Joe Ryan. All he's done is given up 3 runs in 11 innings in 2 starts since the deadline. Boy, that would have been nice. That would have been a nice little breath of fresh air to add to this rotation. But Cam, he's also never thrown 160 innings in a season. You said before the deadline that was your main concern about him. That's a good point, caller. That's a good point. What it does, though, is it expands your rotation. And you have a long guy. You have another guy or 2 you can put in the bullpen. That means you can shrink these starts and expand your rotation. But instead, you didn't do that. You went out and got Dustin May, whom is not going to be able to give you 5 good innings in a start. He's just not capable of that. Walker Buehler, same thing. So when you have a stretch like this where your top 3 starters all suck 3 days in a row, and then you've got 2 guys who can't pitch 5 innings and be effective, then what do you have? That's a last place kind of rotation. And it worries the crap out of me. It worries me to no end that you're going to go into a postseason series and Garrett Crochet is going to lose a heartbreaker in game 1. And then what do you have? Then you're screwed. Then you are up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. If Garrett Crochet isn't perfect for you in a playoff game, then you've got shit to work with. You've got just about nothing. That's where it really concerns me. And of course, again, going back to what we started off the top with, we need to get there first. You need to get to the postseason. Right? This is a tight race. And you've got the Yankees, who aren't even playing good baseball, bearing down on you after you've lost 3 in a row. Toronto's luck has not run out yet. We thought it would run out by now. It has not run out yet. They're still, 14 or 15 games over 500 against teams that are over 500? They're great in one-run games. Their run differential stinks, but they're running away with this division right now. And speaking of trade deadline guys, not just Joe Ryan, how about Dylan Cease? I was told Dylan Cease was not good enough for the Red Sox to go out and trade for him. 4.6 ERA, not good enough to pitch for this team. In reality, they were right. He was too good for the Red Sox to hit. Not too bad for the Red Sox. The Red Sox were too bad for him. He shoved it down their throats the other day. 2 earned runs in 6 innings, 7 strikeouts in those 6 innings. He made the Red Sox look ridiculous. So now the question rears its ugly head again for Craig Breslow, for Alex Cora, for Andrew Bailey and this entire Red Sox team. Do you have good enough pitching to get to the postseason? Do you have good enough pitching to win a round in the postseason? Because for as great as the vibes have been this year, you still have some huge holes in that rotation that you just didn't address because you want to be efficient. 3 losses in a row with your top 3 starters, that's efficient. You know exactly what you're going to get. They're going to lose, and they're going to lose it quickly. And that's what you're going to get in the postseason if you don't get better starting pitching from now until October. To me, this is a major red flag for the Red Sox. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you worried about this team? Are you worried about the pitching? Let me know in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. We come at you live on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. So liking and subscribing really helps me out. It helps out the channel, which has grown so much over the last couple of months. You don't want to miss out on this. So check out the other videos on the channel talking Red Sox, Bruins, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week talking nothing but Boston sports. Before we go, real quick, I've got to get involved in the comment section because this is very important here. I am a Liverpool FC fan. I sometimes wear the hat on the show. I'm a big, big, big Liverpool fan. I'm not overreacting to the friendly loss that they had on Sunday, but I am damn ready for this season to get started. I wish I could talk more Liverpool on this podcast, if nothing else, for the reason that they're owned by the same owners as the Red Sox. But yes, NJ, you'll never walk alone. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. And we will see you tomorrow on the next edition of a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Sains, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit twosains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.